Hi everyone, my name is Helle Sophia Fabricius. I'm a Danish tutor and I've been teaching and counseling expats in Denmark for 7 years. Students, employees and spouses connected to international companies like Novo Nordisk, Velux or Unity Technologies. I run Danish Confidence, and today I will be giving a talk about how to socialize with the Danes and the importance of learning Danish. For newcomers to Denmark, people who are planning to come to Denmark, or for expats living, working and studying in Denmark. If you already live, work or study in Denmark, you have experience in how to socialize with the Danes. If you don't, and you're planning to come here, let me tell you this. The Danes are quite easy to socialize with, especially at work, at university, or in the social community. But for you who come from another culture than the Danish, or than a Nordic one, it can be like taking a leap of faith, or like getting on your skis like this guy for the first time and trying to find your balance and land on your feet safe and soundly. To land safe and soundly on your feet, the first thing you have to know about when socializing with the Danes is that the number one buzzword in Denmark for social events is hygge. For those of you who are already here, you definitely have heard about hygge and probably also have experienced it. For those of you who are new to Denmark, hygge means having a nice time with other people. Because we are so far north here in Denmark, we don't have so much light in the winter time. Therefore, our favorite thing to do in the grey season, from end of October till end of March, is to light candles, stearinlys. We use them in Christmas decorations, as you can see here, but also just on their own, to brighten up the atmosphere in the home and to give this fuzzy warm feeling which is connected to hygge. Hygge is feel-good atmosphere, and a good example of hygge is what you see on this photo. The two women sharing candles and sharing a good time, and the people you see in the background doing the same thing. The next thing connected to socializing with the Danes is the Danish flag and cake, and for birthdays especially layer cake with flags and with candles. The Danes like to have a good time and they like to wave their little flag almost everywhere and on almost every social occasion, but especially on birthdays, on christenings, or for student graduation parties. In the springtime, when all the students are done with their exams, they love to drive around in hired trucks, open trucks, and cheer and wave the Danish flags, and the Danes love to cheer them back. Another important thing for the Danes is the Friday cake. The one you see here is of course a Danish pastry cake, classical Danish pastry. And on Fridays at the office, at the university, or even at home, the Danes like to celebrate that it's the weekend and we're going to have more hygge during the weekend. And we do that with a slice of cake. It doesn't have to be big. It's very common to share a cake like this and have a cup of coffee and a chat with your colleague in the office or at the university. You can even have a piece of cake at the local cafe. But the main thing is, the Danes like cake. It doesn't really make them fat because they also like sports. Number one Danish value is work to live and not live to work. We focus a lot on high quality of life here in Denmark, and high quality of life means maintaining a sound balance between working life and social life, private life. Denmark just scored number 2 on the Social Progress Index in 2020 for high quality of life. And it's something that I often hear from my students here, that they are so grateful to be in Denmark because the Danes have a high quality of life. Number 2 Danish value is plan to achieve. The Danes have a kind of American German efficiency mentality with a Nordic twist. And planning to achieve also includes making sure that your social life and private life is in balance with your work life. Maintaining this balance between working life and private life also means that the Danes tend to mind their own business after work. They are very friendly and open to you at work, and they will always try to welcome you speaking English or trying to help you at work. But after work, it can feel like they are a little hard to get for private friendship. That doesn't mean you have to give up. The Danes do want to make friends. They're just not Southerners. They are so cooped up at home with their candle lights, and since it's very dark half of the year, they don't really look out the window and see passers-by or ask them to come in and join them, as people would in Italy or Greece. Number 1 expat rule, therefore, is bear with the Danes after work and make friends with them at sports and leisure time activities in their association life. Association life in Denmark consists of a lot of state-funded sports clubs, local sports clubs, like football clubs, basketball clubs, badminton clubs, or even leisure time activity clubs like photography classes, painting classes, language classes, etc. And the characteristics of the association life is that they are run by volunteers. But here you have the chance of catching the Danes when they relax and focus on something else. This way you can make friends with them gradually and casually. The Danish mentality is characterized by a straightforward approach to being social and to being around other people. The Danes can sometimes even be blunt. That does not mean that they mean to be rude, but they grow up in a discussion culture, and they learn that it's important to speak your mind. So that's what they will do when you are around them. They love a good discussion, and they love to go anywhere in their minds about almost any discussion topic. So do use discussion topics also to get to know the Danes. Because we're such a small country, we focus a lot on learning English in school. These days, the kids start learning English already from the beginning. And that means that the majority of the Danes speak very good English, especially in the rural areas like Greater Copenhagen, in Lyngby or Copenhagen, Aalborg, Odense, Aarhus. But as soon as you get outside the greater cities and you're around Danes who are not working at international companies or who are not studying at international universities, they are not all so cosmopolitan. And that means you have to be able to speak Danish. And you have to bear with the Danes for not being so cosmopolitan all over the country. The Danes will go to great lengths when you work and study with them. and they will speak English with you as far as they can. But at a certain time, they will get tired, because if they are not professional English users and they're not used to being around international people all the time, they get tired because their English muscles are not as strong as the international people. So for dinners and parties in Danish or in Denmark generally, you will need your Danish skills to avoid feeling excluded around the Danes. That's why learning Danish is crucial for your quality of life, living, working, and studying in Denmark. It's also worthwhile for you to be able to speak Danish when you apply for jobs in Denmark after your studies are done. Companies in Denmark will appreciate that your CV contains the phrase, I am learning Danish, I am improving my Danish, and I am using my Danish. That will send a very important signal to the companies you apply with that you are easy to integrate socially and work-wise. We have a lot of small and medium-sized companies in Denmark, and they dominate the job market. And then we have a few very big international companies like Lego, Microsoft, Novo Nordisk, and Velux. But no matter if you work at the big companies or the small and medium-sized companies, it is important for you to speak Danish. It is your ticket to career success. And it is your ticket to ensure social inclusion at the workplace and outside the workplace. Very rarely, and I so often hear foreigners in Denmark who are feeling sad and excluded because their Danish is not good enough, or they don't feel safe enough speaking Danish, so they feel excluded being around the Danes. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that get to you. Make sure your Danish skills are good enough to feel included. Danish grammar and vocabulary is pretty easy. It's like a walk in the park because 40% of the Danish words are very similar to German. So for Germans, people from the Netherlands, or Hungarians, or people from Norway and Sweden, the Danish language can feel pretty easy. And even for people who come from the rest of the world, it's not a big deal. So start learning now and get a head start, maybe even online, where you can find free courses in Danish. The tricky thing about the Danish language is that there's also a spoken and heard language, and that is something that requires your full attention. Danish has a lot of vowel sounds, and they are very close to each other. So pronouncing Danish can feel like an icy slope or a rocky climb. So for coping with the Danish sounds, you need the right gear, and you definitely need endurance. You need to use muscles you never thought you even had. And you need to do a kind of facial yoga and use other muscles that are unfamiliar to you. You also need to get past barrier number 1, feeling like a child, insufficient or awkward, because language learning takes time and you're used to being an adult and used to being very good at coping with communication. Don't let that scare you. Just let it prepare you, because of course you can do it too. I will hold your hand, or somebody else will hold your hand. It's doable, even though it can seem like a rocky climb or an icy slope. Just promise me one thing. Don't give up. Be properly prepared for the adventure you are plunging yourself into. Skis or no skis. You will need endurance and you will need patience.